Hi, Al, can you hear me? Let's see.
Hello.
Hi, mate. My video camera's been a right pain. I've got a web camera and it's just not playing. But you can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
I
that's good.
probably will be turning my webcam off during the presentations so it doesn't
Yeah,
make it laggy.
yeah.
I seem to struggle having webcam and streaming on at the same time.
Okay, no worries. Do you want me to, I think everyone was automatically muted by default, but I'll keep an eye on that. Do you want me to ask everyone else to keep the webcams off or?
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me really. Maybe when it's the Q&A, if they want to have the webcam on, so that's
Yeah,
when I'll put my camera back on.
right, I get you. Yeah. Okay, I'll see if I can find out why my web camera's being such a little pain. Don't know why it's doing it. I got it from the college, that's why. Yeah, misbehaving. But yeah, I'll so what's your general plan? Are you gonna talk for a certain amount of time so I can kind of what's you thinking in terms of your length of presentation?
So I have over the weekend I wrote a presentation, so it quickly goes over the history of me, and then it
Right,
talks about Lucid. I have to also show off the new trailer that we just released.
right.
And then it talks about life at Lucid, then, about my job role, and then how to prepare to get into the industry and stuff. So we talk a lot about like game jams and tournaments and
That's cool.
stuff and competitions. And then a bit of advice, and then just like summing up and questions. It's about 18 slides in total.
Okay.
I can't see it taking longer than half an hour.
All
It
right,
could
cool.
take a little bit more. It depends how much I waffle.
This is the first time I've seen you without a hat.
Did I always wear a hat at
Mm.
college? I can't
You
remember.
always had the long beanie.
That's because I always probably needed a haircut. Student life.
You can afford one now. Saying that, you can't get one now in lockdown, can you?
I can't. No, I've had to quit myself.
I've never had that problem. My clippers just whiz what's left of my hair away, so I'm kind of safe. But some of my students look like a bear's couch. It's quite amusing watching them. One lad in particular is just dead embarrassed about how fluffy and mad and curly his hair's gone. It's quite amusing. So
It's not as bad as what Lee's went.
Have you heard from Lee at all?
Yeah, I speak to Lee quite regularly.
That's good. He said
yeah,
he's been taking it easy and resting up a bit.
Yeah, I think lockdown has been quite difficult for him, obviously, with motivation and stuff like that. To be honest, I've been in the same boat. Like, motivation's so hard, especially when you can't leave the house and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard balancing it, and getting into the sort of like the work mode and switching off from it as well. It's weird.
Yeah, it's the switching off that I get stuck because obviously I'm just in this room.
Right.
And if I stay and decide, I'm going to play some computer games or whatever, I'm just in this room for like all day. And it's just like,
yeah.
It's like, right, I definitely need to go outside or something and go in a different room.
It does mess with your psychology, doesn't it? It's it's not good for anyone, is it? It's a pain. It's good that we're actually back at college, obviously face to face now. So it's most of the lessons are running face to face. So the students are happy to be back, and they're mostly happy little bunnies. But it's just getting them back into the flow now because they're coming in and socialising, and you're like, well, it's nice to see you socialising, but can you do some work as well? That would be lovely.
Nothing's changed since I've been there. Then.
No, it's pretty similar. Yeah, we're better off for tech than we were when you were there. But yeah, it's going okay. So I'll let a few people in if that's all right with you. If you want to, and if we do want to, I'll start the session. Just saying we'll start at 2:00. I'm going to record the session if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I think I'm going to record. It's difficult to see whether that's okay. I think it's automatically recording. Seems to be anyway. Okay. That always makes me paranoid. That all I can see is a pause. I'm going to hit that. It's saying pause. Okay, it's got to be.
I get a nice little red button saying it's been recorded.
That's up top left. Yeah, that's good. Okay, got paranoid again for a minute there.
Well, I'm surprised it actually doesn't tell me, because usually when I'm at work it says this session has been recorded.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But yeah, it is recording up top left. I can see that now, so that's good. So I'll let people in, and then I'll if you want to hide your camera, if you're feeling camera shy, you can.
No, I'm not camera shy.
But if you want to keep your camera on for a second, so it's totally up to you, mate.
Yeah, right? As soon as I start sharing my screen, I'll turn it off. So
okay, no worries.
Don't want to kill my internet. That'll be the worst case scenario.
That would be a nightmare. Yeah. But we should be all right, because I'm well, the money I'm paying Virgin, I'm actually should be getting an okay connection and broadband with hosting it from here. I'm through Ethernet. That's all. I made sure we're not playing with any Wi-Fi.
Yeah, usually my internet's a bit iffy. I'm on a dodgy BT line.
Right. It can be funny. But let's see. We're getting a few more people coming in. Sophie. Hello everyone. If you're all here, I can see that most of you are on mute. So if you've not met me before, some of you joined from IT courses. My name's Pete Gibson Black. I run the full degree in BA Honours Game Design and Concept Art at the college. Alan Horton, who is on screen with us today and giving us an industry talk, is going to talk you through his life from when he was born.
I wouldn't say that far.
Up to a brief history of his life, and how he got on in college, and how he eventually broke into the industry. So he's going to be giving you a presentation that should last roughly about half an hour. And after the half an hour, we should be able to switch to some Q&A, some question and answer sessions. So you should be able to ask questions. So if we can keep the mutes on for now, on the Q&A session, obviously, if you go to where you've got yourself, you should be able to put your hand up. So you should be fine with that. So if you put your hand up, or just unmute your mic if I'm not spotting you, but I should be able to see hands going up here. Okay. So I'll hand over to Alan now, and we'll take him there. The session's being recorded, so if anyone wants to go back and look through it again, you can do. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I can share my screen, Pete. So you've disabled it. Now there we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Al, I can see that. Yeah, I think everyone else can.
Okay, all right. So hello and welcome to my presentation. I am Alan, and I'm a technical designer from Lucid Games. I joined Lucid back in September, landing my dream position. In this presentation, I'll give a quick overview of myself, talk about life at Lucid, about the job role itself, and also share information about how to prepare yourself and to find a job once you've completed your course. So a quick overview about me. I started my journey back in 2016. During the college, studying H&D game design. I was a mature student. Once I completed the H&D at the college, I went to FutureWorks to turn the H&D into a BA. And after that, yeah. So during my time at FutureWorks. I joined a small team made up of FutureWorks students and one of the City of Liverpool college students. And we entered a competition called Jamfuser, which is hosted by the UK Games Fund. The team went on to win that competition, and it was picked up by Channel 5's Gadget Show. And they did a small piece about our game, which was quite an accomplishment at the time, just being students. After this, the same team entered a competition called Transfuser, which you can see is in the picture we ended up showcasing at EGX. We went through all the rounds of this, pitching concepts, making demos, and obviously we finally got accepted, and we were allowed to turn the idea into a full-fledged demo, which was actually showcased at the EGX 2019. I've got to say this is probably one of my proudest moments to showcase a game with my friends, and as well as at one of the largest conventions in Europe. While studying at both the City of Liverpool College and FutureWorks, I found pushing myself to work outside my comfort zones to help me achieve greater goals. So a little bit about Lucid. We're the developers of PlayStation 5 exclusive game called Destruction All Stars. It's a vehicle combat game called another one called Switchblade, and we also work alongside the biggest developers and publishers. In the past year, we have developed Destruction All Stars, worked on Apex Legends, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So Lucid have just released Destruction All Stars. It's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's a vehicle combat game with elements of parkour. Destruction All Stars is actually free on PlayStation Plus till the end of the month. If you have a membership and don't have a PS5, you can still get the game. You can just go by going onto the website and claiming it, and it will be in your library waiting for you next time, whenever you get the next generation. So there's another screenshot of it, and I have a trailer to show you. Okay, so life at Lucid is very welcoming, friendly, and diverse. We held yearly events such as like a summer and Christmas party, but we also do host other events throughout the year. So usually we have like birthday parties for Lucid. So before obviously COVID happened, we had the ninth birthday party. Obviously this year we've had to celebrate Lucid's big 10th anniversary at home, which was a nice little Zoom party. So every month we also have Lucid's big breakfast at a local cafe. This is where we get to socialize with everyone from Lucid, all the other teams, especially people that you don't really get to see that often who are working on different projects. Also at the end of each month we get to finish early, which is it's a great bonus. Lucid is also a very sociable company outside of work life. There is a number of clubs like photography, hiking, climbing, board game nights, and of course, obviously, a lot of us play games together. Also, every time we release a new title or wrap up on a project, we have launch parties. But yeah, again, this has been a problem this year. We haven't been able to have a launch party for Destruction All Stars, but we did have a nice Zoom party. We got to play with a lot of the people, obviously, who had the Generation 5s and join them as well as playing the game. So I've got a little video about Lucid Games. I'll start that. So, okay, so a little bit about what I do. So what is a technical designer? A technical designer is a game or level designer by training and is known for their technical skills. Usually part of the production team, the designer will create and implement complex technical and system design elements into the game. So the life of a technical designer covers quite a lot of disciplines that fall under the technical design role, and not all jobs are the same and branch out into different specialities. So I've tried to sum up the main responsibilities of a technical designer. Starting off first, prototyping systems and mechanics before it is implemented into the game. This could be making a whole new system, merging two systems together, or improving an existing system. From here, you will oversee the production and implementation of this prototype, communicating and working with other areas of the team, so like programming, animation, art, and probably the technical aspects of them as well, so like technical animators and technical designers for art. So once this is implemented, you will then have to either like fine-tune the data, mainly probably using visual scripting, so you would end up going into something like blueprints and adding that logic into existing systems, or just working on it so it fits into the game. Visual scripting is a huge part of being a technical designer. You might require to be requires a bit of text coding, but 90% of the time you work in the world of visual scripting. One of the areas this is mainly used in is, I would say, probably events, so stuff like that happens in level, so level interactions, anything that's triggered by cinematics, gameplay flow, stuff that is triggered in the world that you would interact with, or you get to a certain point and it could be something like triggering combat, putting in AI waypoints, so stuff like that. As a technical designer, you are usually the first point of contact for systems that you have designed or worked on. you will need to be the expert of this system, usually explaining how it works. You'll do demonstrations, or if the system needs to communicate with other systems or mechanics, you're usually the first port of call to implement that. During the later stages of production, you enter a polish stage. This is where the visual script probably needs to be improved for performance. So I'll probably say if it's in Unreal Engine, it would be something like getting rid of axes of class and referencing stuff like that correctly. So yeah, the whole idea of this is to make it run more efficiently and removing any potential bugs. But I find doing this as early on as possible will help in the long run, and always try to follow good practices. So how to prepare to get into the industry. Networking and industry events can be extremely helpful. The Gamers Unite before lockdown ran monthly meetups in Manchester and is currently hosting virtual events. So I have a website for that. So if you are local to the Manchester area, once COVID is over and we're back to normal life, they will be running events again. There is a virtual event coming up soon, but no details have been released about that. Also going on the GameBiz website, this shows you all the industry events pretty much around the world. You can obviously filter by location. So obviously there's some big ones. You've got the London Games Festival coming up. I think that's actually just passed. So yeah, that's coming up soon, the Games Career Week as well, which is quite handy as well. If you're ready to start looking for jobs, if you're in the last year of your degree. Yeah, so I would also recommend going to other events that probably aren't listed on those websites. So like EGX is usually areas that are looking to recruit people. There is a whole section about trying to get juniors in, and there is usually lots of recruiters there. When I was there, I spoke to quite a lot of people, and you can also just go to the other game stores and just talk to the game developers, and from that you can usually get a good understanding if they're looking for people or how they got into the industry and stuff. And it's also a good way just to network. I also find setting up a LinkedIn account is extremely useful for networking, connecting with fellow developers, following any company, especially games companies. Usually what I've found is there is a lot of jobs get posted even before the go on their websites. Sign up for job notifications. So there's a specialized one called Gradding Games. They specialize in finding jobs for graduates. It might be also useful for the college to probably get in touch with them, because they actually do talks as well for graduates, and they actually do help you look at getting your CVs up to scratch and stuff. But just don't stay to one website. There is lots of recruitment agencies out there. There's lots of websites to help you find jobs as well. So we'll have a quick look at that website as well. So yeah, you can see they're advertising a lot of student positions. Obviously, it's all over the UK. There is one in the Northwest that's looking for an intern programmer. So if there's any programmers looking for this, I would probably recommend trying to apply for that. Also, work on your CV CV is very important for standing out other than your obviously portfolio. Try to put skills and relevant experience towards the top of the CV, just below your personal statement. And I would probably recommend putting education towards the bottom, because especially in this industry, they like to see experience over qualifications. I would also avoid putting something like I'm 80% good at Unreal or Maya or something, because no one likes to see that. They just want to see what skills you can use or what softwares you're used to using. A CV shouldn't be longer than 2 pages. You just want to sell yourself. You don't want them to read an essay. Also, the cover letter should be similarly short. So I would say 3 to 4 paragraphs, and you literally are just selling yourself. You want to save a lot of information for your interview, so you're not repeating stuff. You want them to be interested off your skills, your experience, and your personal statement, and you just want to summarize that in your cover letter. And literally just list softwares as well that you are confident in using. Don't put softwares just on there that you've never used or because you've heard of them. Because if you say you've used Houdini because you've heard of it, and then you get a job where you're thrown into using Houdini and you don't know how to use it, it's going to be quite embarrassing. Also send speculative applications. I did this as well. I found this actually quite useful. I actually did get some job interviews based off this, but I also got a lot of feedback about my CV and my portfolio. And like I said before, companies like Recruitment Games offer services to look at your CV and give you pointers. And once you start getting interviews and getting tests and stuff, and you're receiving feedback, your CV and portfolio is working. It's hitting the right notes. So, like I was saying before, your portfolio is the most important part of your application. So, this is literally to showcase all your work. If it be put in environments, concept art, characters, 3D models onto ArtStation or Polycount, or making a playable demo and full games, or showing off game jam work, and this stuff needs to go in your just don't show your educational work. Try having a broad portfolio of different areas. Try to display other pieces of work from game jams, personal projects, team projects, and so on. Try to join a team with friends or people from development communities, and to make a small game from start to finish. And do try to keep the game small. I cannot stress that enough. Overscope on a small project can kill it so quickly. Just make a game based around 1 or 2 mechanics with a theme. Only has to be a couple levels big, and you just show the process from start to finish. Write a little game design document, technical document if you want to be going into that area, or if you were just modeling, show off the models, how you made them. Same with animations or characters. I would also recommend joining game jams as much as possible. It is a great way to try new areas of development, try new art styles, try a new mechanic idea out, or just want to make something, just have some fun with the idea. Itch has a lot of game jams. They start every day. Some, happen. Some of them are just 24 hours, and some of them can last up to 3 months. The two big game jams usually for game development is Unreal Engine's game jams and the Global Game Jam. The Unreal Engine ones happen before the pandemic. It was 4 times a year. They've seemed to have reduced them at the moment. And the Global Game Jam, that happens once a year. It's usually quite early on. It's usually January, but usually there's a lot of applicants. I think last time I entered that one, there was over 10,000 submissions. Like I was saying before, these could last from 24 hours up to a couple of months. It just depends on the jam. I would say shorter it is, make it simple as possible and pretty. And if it's longer, spend more time. Don't worry if it's a bit buggy. That's what happens in 3 days worth of making something that's gonna not be perfect, but it's still good fun and you learn quite a lot. And if you want to try like different areas, so when I was doing game jams, I did one game jam where I was just modeling, and then I did one where I was just doing level design, and then one where I was doing technical design. This is how I kind of like brought down what I would want to do in the industry. Also, like I was obviously talking about in the About Me, enter competitions like Transfuser and Search for a Star. So I'll just quickly go on the Transfuser website. So this is run by the UK's Games Funds, and it helps students get experience in setting up games companies or experience in making prototypes, and teaches you how to pitch your idea if you want to set up an indie studio. This is probably something the college probably could get into as well, because if you do want to go down this route of entering this competition, you will need an educational body to support you. So when I entered with the team I joined with, we were sponsored by FutureWorks, but the college could sign up and sponsor any team from the college as well. Also, Search for a Star. I think this just takes me to the application. So I would say this is more for the art side and programming, and probably it's got animation in there now. So what they do is they run yearly competitions. It's a very good way to get noticed, because especially in this searching for a star, a lot of companies are on the review board for it. So like all the judges are in companies, and everyone I've seen who gets to the final of this competition usually has a job before they get to the final. It is a good way to get noticed as well, even especially through the earlier rounds, because your work is on a website, and there's a lot of people coming to look at stuff from that competition. And last not but least, try different technologies, try different game engines, art packages, just get a broad knowledge of what's out there and what you're good in. The industry changes so fast, especially with art packages. It could be Substance Painter 1 year, then it's back to Quixel the next, and then it's back to Substance Designer and Painter. So it changes all the time. So when it comes to interviews, every company's interview style is very different. Also, they have different job descriptions. Make sure you read up before an interview to see what they're looking, and remember, not every interview will be the same. Every company has a different interview style. Most likely you won't get a job on your first, second or third interview. When I was doing it, I applied for 20 jobs when I was looking to get into the industry, I had 10 interviews and 3 design tests, and Lucid was my 21st job application. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get it on the first attempt. It's all about seeing if you match that company, because obviously they have a very broad job descriptions for every job that they describe. So it's seeing if you match what they are looking for. You will typically have a technical interview or test during your interview process. This is where you will talk in depth about your work or the process of the test. This usually goes for all disciplines in the industry, and it's mainly to see your workflow, idea generation, and how you would like approach problem solving. They will also probably ask you questions like, what's your favorite game, or what game are you currently playing now, followed by the next question of, how would you improve that game? So don't go in there saying, I'm playing Red Dead 2 or something like that, which is, you know, an impossible game to probably improve, unless you do really have some good ideas about how to improve it. Try finding, you know, smaller indie games that, you know, that are probably free on the Unreal Marketplace or something like that, and play a couple of them, and you can just use them as a bit of knowledge as playing that. I usually went with like The Witness or like games in that genre, because there is areas that you could improve that game. Also, don't worry if you don't know the answer to questions. Try to use examples from your past work and explain how you would approach it. Always have questions for the interview as well. I usually had 3 to 5 questions that varied from studio culture to questions about the pipeline and how they plan on using new technologies. Also like softwares as well. And, you know, like, yeah, just questions about like how they use technologies and softwares in their pipelines is always quite good. Interviews and job finding is very daunting, and don't lose hope in your on the first try. Just pick yourself up and try again. You will eventually find a job. Like I say, it took me 21 job applications, and a lot of them didn't really reply. Also, I have a friend, he didn't get a job till after 60 applications. So you just got to keep doing it. It can be soul destroying at times, and it can knock your confidence, but just don't give up. So my advice for first timers when you finally get a job in the industry are, if you hit a brick wall with making something and it isn't going how you wanted, or you keep getting bugs, my best advice is to stop working on it. Have a break from it. Don't stay in the office after hours trying to get to work. Take a break. The solutions to the problem usually come when you've had a good night's rest, when you look at it again the next day or after the weekend. I find solutions always come to me in the most weirdest of places as well, like drawing sleep, in the shower, watching TV, on the walk. It's when your mind's not actively thinking, it will come to you. Also, don't be scared to ask colleagues for advice. Game companies have a pool of experience, and everyone there is to help each other. Learn from your mistakes, bugs, errors that break the project. I've done this so many times, but you have to turn these negatives into positives and learn from them. This will help you in the future. also you can share your experience with fellow colleagues if something similar happens and how you fixed it. So you can help them if they encounter the same problem that you have. Never stop learning as well as practicing. The game industry, as I said, is always changing and evolving. Learn new techniques, methods, watch the latest GDC talks, animation exchange talks, read websites, articles about development, Unreal Engines development videos. The list is endless. It's whatever career that you want to go into, just watch and learn new stuff about that area, because you want to keep ahead of the race. You want to keep in pace with it, because obviously you could be doing something that's out of date on the project that you're working in, and you'll be moving to the new one, and that's when you can start looking at implementing these new resources that you've learned, and you can use them in the next project. It is very easy to get overwhelmed as well when you start a new job. I got imposter syndrome, and I still do get it from time to time. It is very weird because you are around a lot of people who have decades of experience, and it is easy to think that you're not good enough or you can't do the task when it's assigned to you. My advice for this is just take each day as it comes, and you will realize that you can do everything. It's good to remember that they did hire you for a reason, and they believe in your skill set. I also found talking to colleagues and friends and getting help and advice and direction helped me overcome this as well. Also, finally, be a good person. The game industry is very small. Everyone knows everyone. Come to work with a good attitude and work ethic, and you will be remembered for this. So Lucid release jobs annually for art, animation, design, and programming. Usually these are aimed at mid-level to senior positions. They also do have a graduate scheme. So they will be willing to, if you do see a job up there and it doesn't say graduate or junior, do apply for them, because they do have a graduate scheme, and they will take on a graduate or junior in a position that does say it needs a little bit of experience, if they think you are good enough to do that job. So always keep an eye out for opportunities. So follow Lucid on social media for the latest job alerts. I would recommend following Lucid on LinkedIn, as it is the best place to see the latest Lucid jobs, as they are usually posted there first before they even go up on the website. And it's time for Q&A.
Thanks, Alan. What I'll do, I will just
stop sharing.
Yeah, okay. I'll reclaim the hosting. I think I will anyway. Let me see. Yeah, that should be fine.
Oh, is that why I was coming up with let people in?
Right, maybe, yeah. Right.
I was like, hey?
Hey, who? So I think we're yeah, the people, yeah, there's about 13, 14 people about.
Yeah, they can do voice or they can type it in, and I'll try to answer it. I can't answer any questions about projects that we're working on.
Yeah, you'd be hunted down, wouldn't you?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, non-disclosure agreements, if you're not aware of them in games, are sort of legal contracts that people have to sign, and in order to sort of work on a game, you need to sort of keep a level of secrecy, obviously. So you have to take them very seriously. So obviously Alan can't. Can you talk about things that are like projects that have gone, like the All Stars, what you particularly worked on that? Are you allowed to do that, or is that in the way?
Not really, no.
Right. Okay.
It's very grey area.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll keep clear of that. So if anyone's not used to the hands up approach, if you look down the bottom of your screen on Zoom, you should see reactions with a little smiley face and a plus in his head. If you click on that, there's a raise hand button. So if anyone wants to raise the hand, I can unmute you, or you should be able to unmute yourself. So has anybody got any questions they'd like to put forward to Alan? If you want to text, by the way, you can, there's a chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat facility as well. So yeah, you can go into the chat. So yeah, we've got a hand up, I think. Yeah, we've got Rob. So let me see. Can you unmute yourself, Rob? Or
Yeah, I can unmute myself.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, make one.
Do you want me to have webcam on, or is it just cool being anonymous?
It's totally, if you want to remain mysterious, Rob, that's cool, mate.
I have no. Oh, there we go.
How clean is your bedroom? There you go.
I'm not in my bedroom at the moment. I'm downstairs. So I'm still very new with a lot of things to do with the games because we're still first year and stuff, and a lot of game jam kind of stuff sounds really daunting. Like I don't think I know how to do a lot of the basic stuff for making a game. Like at what point would you say it's safe for someone to start dipping into a game jam or something like that?
I did my first one at the end of the first year of HND. I think we literally just finished doing a unit on mechanics, so we all just had the basic knowledge of mechanics. But another lad was doing that for us, so I just focused on art for that one.
Yeah.
If you want to do one now, I would probably just say do something really simple, like I would say like Cube, where you literally just go up to areas and just solve problem solving, so just pressing buttons and moving cubes. Just something like one really simple mechanic that you can make, 2 or 3 levels, maybe 4 or 5, depending how much time you've got. It doesn't have to be a big game. Usually they say anything between 5 and 10 minutes is usually the perfect game jam length.
Because I know that I probably dither around a bit, and if I had something to get my teeth into and make mistakes with, I think that would be a better thing for me to try and do with my time.
No, that's understandable. Like my first game jam was so ropey. It didn't even go on my portfolio, but it's a good learning curve.
Yeah.
It also pushes you, to do stuff that you probably aren't comfortable in doing. Because there'll be certain areas you'll get to a point where like, oh God, I need to do animation. I don't know how to do animation.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I would say doing something simple where, first person camera, where you just pick up a box and just place it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then obviously once you start learning more by the third year, you've probably got so much experience from just doing the educational work. Game jams won't be that difficult to do, because you will have a broad aspect of knowledge for it. Also, if you have a good I wouldn't recommend doing it solo.
No. Yeah.
Usually you can have a team of up to 5 people. So
I think Lee used to do, didn't Lee, your mate on the course, did a solo over 3 days, nearly killed him.
Lee used to also work nights at the time. So you do a game jam in the day, then go straight into nights and then back into...
Oh, God. Yeah.
So you'd be up for 72 hours sometimes.
Yeah, that's a challenge, isn't it? That's certainly a challenge. Does that answer your question, Rob? Is that
no, that's great. Cheers, Alan.
That's great. Any other questions from anyone in the room? Might be a question about game jams again, or it could be about skills or software. I'll ask one in the meantime if no one puts any up. So there's quite a few sort of things that occurred to me through your presentation. So one of them was you mentioned about obviously keeping kind of abreast of a wider range of software and what kind of stuff that's out there. Do you think it's worth, because there's obviously issues with Blender, do you think it's wasted time learning stuff like Blender because studios tend not to use it, or is it still transferable skill?
It depends what area you're going into. So obviously, me being a technical designer, prototyping is big, so I might need to go into modeling software and make something that they're quick to just have as a placeholder.
Right.
I would usually use probably Blender or Maya, probably Blender at the moment. But if you're going to be a 3D modeler or character artist or anything, on that pipeline, it will usually be Maya or 3ds Max.
Right. Is it worth learning Maya and 3ds Max, would you say?
Depends on the studio.
Right.
Like, they're not meant to be that much difference between the two now.
Mm-hmm.
They all do the same thing. I guess it depends what studio. Every studio I see in supply, it usually just has Maya or 3ds experience. Would be ideal, but not required.
Right.
So it's just so you have that basic modeling experience. Like I say, for a technical designer, you have to make prototypes for stuff, and that could mean you would have to make, say if you're making a weapon system, you will have to make a sword or a bat or something, or you need a gun. You just either try finding a free one or
free asset.
You just make one.
Right.
Like a really dodgy one.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So at least you've got something you can test. Yeah. You can work with. You mentioned obviously the code side of things. So it's just a question that might help some of the guys here from an IT background. In terms of obviously coding, is it still very much like a C++ sort of situation?
So again, it depends what company you're working with. I would say majority of it is either C# or C++.
Right.
There seems to be a lot of Python, especially if you are creating tools. If you're looking to be a tools programmer, like a lot of Python is used.
Right.
Because obviously you'd be making tools, for like Maya and probably working on the back end of stuff, for getting builds ready and pushing them so people can play and stuff.
Right.
For like a technical designer, it is literally just visual logic, so blueprints.
Blueprint, yeah. What about in terms of Unity? Because Unity is kind of different to the blueprint side of things, isn't it?
See, I've never used Unity. I know my friend who's got a job as well. He's using Unity, and I think they have a store add-on that does enable virtual scripting.
Oh, right, okay.
So I think companies either will find a way for people to use visual scripting, because a lot of the time it just isn't for technical designers. Artists can set up some stuff using the virtual scripting as well. So if they're implementing something animation as well, when they're setting up the characters, that is pretty much all set up in virtual scripting.
Cool. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, Louise, if you want to unmute yourself, that's cool. You should see the unmute is bottom left, Lou, on your screen. You'll have a slash through your microphone. If you click on that, it should pop off. Let me see if I can unmute you. Don't know if I can. Chat.
She's just put a comment in chat.
Oh, she added the chat, right? Ah, cool. Okay. So yeah. Louise is saying, hey Alan, as a 2D artist that's mainly focused in that area, is there a good chance for a 2D art based job in game jams and such? So I have no idea when it comes to 3D that much.
Yeah. You'll find if it's not an Unreal game jam, because that usually just seems to be, because obviously that's a 3D engine.
Yeah.
There is a lot of game jams. If you go on the itch.io, there is a lot of game jams on there just specializing in 2D.
Oh, cool.
I've never made a 2D game before, so my knowledge of that area isn't that great, but there is, especially with the global game jam as well, the one that I mentioned that does annually, that usually is centered around their engine, but obviously any engine can enter that competition. I think that's I can't remember what that engine's called. I think it's like the games development kit or something.
Right.
And that specializes in 2D.
It's like a proprietary one, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of 2D game jams out there. You just need to find them. Like I say, Itch is where everyone advertises their game jams.
So yes, Louise is following up with, can concept art be contributed enough for all the 3D stuff if you're like in a team? Yeah. So I think what she's saying is obviously if your 3D skills aren't quite up to scratch yet, you can still get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always stuff that you can do if you're making a 2D game. Concept art, could be great for the backgrounds or making characters and stuff like that. Also, you could probably look into the UI side of things as well.
Yeah, user interface. Yeah. HCI. Yeah, there's that as well, isn't there? And the other thing, Louise, as well, you could obviously ArtStation do a lot of challenges for environment and character-driven art flows and work. And
I think I did actually forget to mention the ArtStation bit.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff on there. So would you think the industry would be happy to see ArtStation challenges in folios as well?
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely.
Like if it's anything art, if you're going for an art-related job, and say if you want to specialize in 2D, just work on that. Just constantly post stuff onto ArtStation of your latest 2D artwork, and
So is it? I think I judge it by what I hear from students. I think and you mentioned it yourself in your presentation, that the side of things being very daunting and trying to sort of keep up with everything and not being able to know everything. I think that's something that students feel quite a lot, because when they hit a games course, they sort of realize how much scope is in the course and what you've got to learn and the software and everything else. Is it okay to specialize rather than being like more well-rounded?
Once, I would say by the third year, you will probably need a good idea of what you want to specialize in. Otherwise, you'll go into the third year like me, saying, I want to be a designer, and I don't know what design I want to do.
So I think using the first 2 years like a HNC, HND, or first 2 years of a degree.
That's why I found quite useful, because you try every area. I think the only area we didn't really try was concept art and 2D.
Yeah.
I think it touched up in level design.
On the HNC and HND,
yeah.
There's more on the BA now.
Yeah, I think at the time there was you was running, there was just a concepts and 2D specialized course, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, so because I didn't know what design job I wanted to go into for my honours project, I did all three areas, which put me under a lot of pressure to doing it. So I did game design, level design, and technical design for my honours, because I didn't know which one I wanted to specialise in, and that is something I would recommend by the third year. Try choosing a specialisation that you want to go into.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
So
that
if you
sounds daunting.
know, modeling's quite an easy one because it's quite a broad area. So if you know you want to be an environment artist, or you want to be, a hard surface modeler or an organic modeler, just start, tailoring your portfolio to that.
Next one. A question from Sophie. Can you unmute yourself, Soph?
Yes. Hello, Alan. I just want to say, so I really like the idea of, ZBrush 3D sculpting and stuff. However, I'm not really good. I'm quite new to it, and the interface kind of throws me off. Do you know, in the industry, would they expect you to fully texture it and animate it as well? Or
animation, no.
Right, okay.
So if you're going to be working in ZBrush, if it's going to be characters or just doing an organic sculpt, you just probably be expected to do that. It's broken down into several stages. So you'll do your blockout stage, and then it'll go into your grey box stage, which is, a highly detailed model, but there's no textures. And then you'll probably end up after that stage texturing it. And then once all that pipeline's done, if it needs animating, it will go over to the animator.
Right, okay, thank you.
No worries.
Is it a good idea to know what the animator would want if you were, in terms of like deformation and their bones and
if you're doing characters, it's probably a good idea to understand how the rigging and animation side works. Even if you're not good at it, I hated the rigging and animation side, but understanding how that stuff works is always a bonus. It'll just help you be a better character designer in the end.
Louise has got another question in chat. Is it possible to get a job right after year 3? I think you covered it quite a bit, didn't you, where you were talking about just keeping going and being sort of resolute and sort of reapplying, but it is possible.
It can be like, it took me 3 months from graduating to get a job. But I know people took them because obviously COVID happened as well. So people, like I had another mate, he got to Team 17 and Ubisoft final interviews. COVID happened. Like, right, we're not recruiting anymore. Lost both those positions, and it took him another year to get a job. It is very possible to get a job straight after finishing your degree. It's all about networking, make sure your portfolio is good. Like I said in the presentation, it took me 20 job applications, and I wasn't getting any information back at the beginning. That's when I started sending speculative applications just so I could try getting feedback and stuff. And then that's when I improved my website, my portfolio, made sure they were seeing, what my skill set was, what, experience I had first before, like seeing what your education, not that really bothered because it's a creative industry. It is good to have a degree because it, that's the second thing they look at, but they want to know what experience you have first.
In terms of websites, would you, is it, because I talked to the students about this and kind of almost like we discussed the idea of swimming with the sharks on ArtStation, is it a good thing or a bad thing to put your work up on ArtStation when you don't feel you're ready, or is it better to take it
down now?
Yeah, true.
It's good to get stuff up there and get a good feedback of what people are thinking, and it's a good way to actually learn as well, because you're getting very critical analytic reviews of people who are artists and stuff. Try ignoring the one saying that shit, they're not going to be helpful.
Yeah, and they're always going to be there. Yeah,
you want the ones that are in detail saying, I like doing a character, I like, the face, but, chin's not right or something, take that feedback, or, ask how you can improve. And then once you get better, you can delete that post, or, 3 years down the line, you can say, this is what I did in year 1, and this is what I'm doing in year 3. You can see, you can put them up and show the difference of how much you've improved as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, website is very good. I can share my screen again and show you my portfolio website if you want.
Yeah, let me see if it'll let me see if I make you the host again. Yes. Should have that now. I'll get back to Robert. You've asked the question, I'll ask Alan and Seth, okay?
Spell.
My keyboard does that to me.
So it's not even I'm not working today. There we go. So it was just a simple blog page. Obviously, I haven't updated it since I've had a job. So, I posted all my game jams on there. I put my honours projects on there because it was such a big project.
Cool.
Then there was personal projects I did, and then more game jams. Just wrote a quick about me. So, like I was saying, skills and experience straight away. I haven't put any medication on there, but I've put my CV on there as well, just in case. And then just a quick. This is usually the link I sent games companies as well. This is when I started actually getting interviews and stuff, because it was like, all right, we can see what he's done.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, this is a game jam. This is another competition. Oh, he's won that one. And it's like, oh, this is his honours. And so it's all, nice and presented, and, it's dead easy to see. And it's what I also did on here is like, I've got, development blog, you can download it. And then obviously game design document, if it loads, it shows you how, like everything about the game, how it was made, like the inspiration behind it. So it shows you can write documents and stuff, which is very, important for a designer. So yeah, it's just, keeping it simple, but giving them lots of information at the same time. If they are interested, there is blogs for them to read and all that.
It's like clean and well presented stuff. It's important. Yeah.
And that's once I updated that, that's when I started getting more interviews, because I was presenting my work nicer than just having, here's all my work.
Yeah, exactly. Robert has put a question in: how easy would it be to find a place in Lucid Games for experience? Are you talking about placements, Rob, or I think he's talking about placements by that.
Yeah, Lucid do graduate placements. It's one of those things you will have to email in and speak to the head of talent and probably set up an interview and stuff, see if there's anything available, because what usually happens is, depending on what course you're on as well, because sometimes we take in sandwich course students, so they're the people that usually have a year's experience in the industry. I think it's after the second year, so before the third. But even then, they will still interview people for graduate positions after. So it's just like emailing and seeing if they're taking any graduates on, showing your portfolio. If they're interested, they'll set up an interview.
Would that be would the person be easy enough to find? Would that be Holly or?
Yeah, Holly's head of talent.
Right. Yeah. So, Robert, if you wanted to ask me, or if you speak to whoever your tutor is, whether it's Mazza or any of the IT guys, I'll be able to share Holly's email, or I'll show you where it is on the website for Lucid. Okay. And see what you can get from Holly in terms of communications. Does anyone have any final questions? Because we're kind of close to the hour mark. No more hands going up. Don't know whether I had some final thing. I asked you about Blender, didn't I? Yeah, you know, the obviously you designed your own logo. Do you think like a visual device or a logo or your own symbol is something that companies like to see?
I think so. Like, it's better than just having, you know, a WordPress that's just, you know, got lots of text on it and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just what worked for me. I don't like. I know people who had less on their website getting jobs as well. It's whatever the company's interested in seeing. Because every interview I had, I usually got mixed questions. It wasn't always about, you know, my game jams. Sometimes it was just questions all about my honours project, or it was questions about why did this game win, and you know, why did you do so many game jams? Can you tell me more about this personal project? Because obviously they all use different mechanics, so that company's clearly looking for something. Go, oh, you've made a fighting game. Let's you know, interview about that, and that's when they start doing a technical interview about that and trying to dig deeper into it and stuff.
What's the strangest question you've been asked in an interview? Did you ever get any surreal questions or blindsided questions?
I'm not going to name the company, but I went for one down in London, and they did 3 interviews on right after each other, and each interview was 45 minutes. So after the second interview, you mentally drained anyway after interview. So when it came to the third one, I just couldn't continue. I just like, it was really hard, and they were like, they were just asking questions like, what would you do if you find a bug? And I just gave up, and I was just like, I'll just turn it into a feature. You know, when you just don't want to carry on anymore.
I like it. Yeah. You get brain
Let's say I didn't get that job, but after 2 hours of being interviewed, I had enough.
Yeah, that's a long interview process, isn't it?
It was.
Rob's put a quick comment up. He says, not a question, but I saw a picture of a friend on one of the slides in your presentation, so that was fun. So one of Rob's friends must have been in the birthday party or one of the parties.
Yeah. He works IT at Lucid. Garrick.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Garrick, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you've got someone who's already in there, Rob, so you can maybe sort of pick his brains about.
Yeah,
stuff.
he keeps on saying that I should try and send like a portfolio in and stuff, but I'm still very nervous and definitely don't think I'm ready to do that kind of thing.
It's always worth
yeah.
Holly is as we discussed, Holly's the head of sort of like recruitment and talent and stuff. So it's always worth throwing something out to Holly, even if she doesn't get back to you, or she might get back to you. You know what I mean? So it's any feedback is good, even if it's kind of tough feedback. You know,
I would say getting feedback on LinkedIn as well. You see a lot of people sharing their work on LinkedIn as well. Once you start becoming, you know, networking with a lot of the game developers, especially when I was obviously in the same position you were, because I think I set up LinkedIn in the second year, and you will see a lot of the students sharing and getting like information off developers, how they can improve the work and stuff, which I think probably a nicer area to do it than probably like ArtStation and stuff, because you're not going to get that much negativity on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I found LinkedIn's quite sort of solid in that respect. It's you know, get so many, I don't know, as you say, negative sort of posts and people trying to troll you and stuff than you would on
I think that's the problem with a lot of the public forums.
Yeah.
You see it a lot on the Facebook development sites as well. Someone posts up some really nice artwork and a lot of people just troll him. And it's just like, that's not going to be helping his confidence.
It's just baiting, isn't it? It's just people with nothing better to do, I think. Yeah. Idiots, in short. Okay, so yeah, if there's no more questions, we can probably let Alan get on with the rest of his day, if everyone's happy with that. if you've got a microphone, if you could just pop off for a second and just say goodbye and thank you to Alan. I'd like to say thanks very much, Alan, for taking part this afternoon. It's been great to catch up with you and great to see you. And really, really useful information for everyone. And
if you need any sending over, Pete, I can message them. Like the transfuser and grads in games might be quite useful, especially.
Yeah. I'll look into the grads in games and the transfuser thing and get the college involved in that.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's quite useful because obviously then it gets to college as well. Notice that they've got a solid game development course going. Because obviously transfuser is only kind of a new company. It's probably been going about 5 years.
Right. Okay.
But it's set up with one of the biggest gaming funds in the UK, so
definitely
it's great if you are looking to set up an indie company or just getting noticed. Like a lot of the people on my team and other teams that got to the final pretty much all got jobs just off the back of transfuser.
Yeah, it's that exposure thing, and being on Channel 5 and the Gadget Show would have been really good.
Yeah.
Louise is saying bye, Alan. My mic won't work properly, unfortunately, but it was a nice insight. Thanks, Louise. Robert's saying thanks very much. Okay,
Thank you
guys.
very much, Alan.
All right.
Cheers, Sophie.
Yep, thank you very much, Alan. It's been really good.
Yeah,
Really good, yeah.
All right, no worries.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. I'll keep in touch, Al, on Discord. But yeah, that was great. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Nice one. I'll catch you later.
All right, see you later.
Bye. Bye, mate.
Bye.